This is Charlie giving you Friday's market commentary and live trading. We've got a trade, it's just coming up to 10 to 8 right now. Got a little divergence trade coming up here on the pound. So I'm going to put edge in here, just put 2 in. We've not quite gone up and broken to new highs. So I'll put 2 in and see if we can then add, if we can just break slightly to new highs here. But I've got the divergence on my other charts off screen in play, so it's pretty much done it. So I've just edged in just in case it doesn't want to actually break to slight new highs. I'm just going to put about a 10 pip stop or so behind it, and see if we can get a play for the 8 a.m. pivot, which will be coming in, fun enough, at 8 a.m. It's only, like I said, 10 to 8 at the moment. So I'm just going to wait and see if we can get these other couple in. If it is just going to push up here, and it is, looks like it is now. So just want to see if we can get that. We're against, I mean, it's a great run here we've had. I'll go through the actual market commentary element in a minute. We've had a great run by looks of things early this morning, and I just missed out, fun enough, on getting in on the long side, which would have been somewhere around about here actually on the long side. Would have been a little long play just on this red candle here, but wouldn't have been huge, but there would have been some points there by looks of things. And I obviously wasn't around here. Well, I wasn't around for all of that, but anyway, and we've just hit an hourly 500 moving average. We've just hit it up here, so we're there or thereabouts against resistance there. Momentum wise, we're fairly muted on the hourly charts at the moment, so there's not like accelerating massive momentum behind it, although it could just want to go. So that's why I'm putting a fairly tight stop behind this just in case. So I'm just going to put my stops in, and then here we go. So it looks like I might be able to get my my add-ins in now. Let's go 39 and 39. Right, okay, so I've got the 4 positions in now. I'll just get the stops in place and I'll come back. Okay, so I've got the stops in place, so let's just bring the account over. It's all changed this week. I logged in one morning this week, and the format had all changed around on my account, so just slightly different buttons. But so here's the 4 positions in at 130, 51.38. Sorry, that's the close. Oh, that's the current price. See, I'm still not even used to it. Here we go. 36s and 35.9s, and then those 32.39s. So I've put the stops in at 50 actually, just to give it a tiny little bit. It's not giving it much room, I must admit. But I don't like playing divergences that much these days anyway. I like playing them. This is the time that I will play a divergence. I'll give a divergence a go at this time in the morning, playing for the 8 a.m. pivot. So if I'm going to play one, then it will be at this time of day. But the rest of the days, I don't really bother with them. So I'm just keeping it tight. And if I get stopped out and then it rolls over, so be it. I've given it 10 points, which is not a lot relative to where we are. I could give it 20, and maybe that would give it just that little bit more slack. But at the same time, the trend is fiercely up overall, and so I'm going counter trend there. So let's have a quick look at the hourly charts. This is what happened yesterday. I had managed to have a great run through from down here, from about here a couple of days ago, and had a great run through this and exited up actually about here, actually 150, just below 150.50, actually 140 something. So there was still a bit decent amount of points left in that, but you have to take a level at some point, and that was an hourly 100. Sorry, 4 hourly 100. If I bring the 4 hourly chart up, there it was at the time, and it hadn't hit for a long time, so I would have expected some sort of retrace. But I am actively looking for more longs overall in the pound. Back to a 5-minute chart now. I'm actively looking for longs, but I've got to be patient. Go back to an hourly chart. We've had a really good run, and I've got to be patient over the coming days, and then look for more swing longs. But and hopefully we get some sort of retracements. So I will be, and I've been talking about this for a long time on the daily charts. I've got these 2 trend channels, if you remember. I've been talking about this for weeks, that we were gearing up for this turn. We've now broken out of this steeper trend channel, so I can take those lines off now. So we've broken out of that one, and I've been talking about us coming back towards this original trend channel, which is what we're doing at the moment. Still plenty of upside potential on this, but I've just got to be patient in waiting for those long setups on a swing basis again, so just got to be a little bit patient there. So but anyway, for now, as far as day trading is concerned, I've missed this upside move. It was fairly early this morning, and it's now just a case of seeing whether this divergence is going to play itself out and whether it's going to work out in my favor or not. So the just we'll see where the 8 a.m. pivot's going to be coming in shortly. It's 7:57 a.m. right now, so I'll press pause and we'll come back to it. Okay, if we breach down to 29 and we get to 10 pips up, then I'll take one of these units off. I've got 4 units obviously there showing. Here's the P&L that we can just about see off on the screen there. So we'll just see if we can get down to that 29 figure, and that gives me 10 pips. I'll take one of them off. But I'm looking for an ultimate target of around about, it's going to be about 20. Now what I've just seen though, and the reason I'm taking one off there, is because the potential is actually, this could actually come back up and do another divergence, and if it does do that, I'm sure it will probably come up to take my stop out in order to put that other divergence in. So I've just noticed that. But if we can get down to 29, then I'll take that one off. If not, then fine. If it comes up and diverges again, then there may be another opportunity to take another trade, but I'd rather it didn't do that, obviously. We'll have to see. So I'll press pause for now. Okay, so we're nearly there, just seeing if we're going to get down into that 29 zone. I've pressed record and probably will go back up again now, so now it's got close. And I'll just see if we can get down there and get one of these off, and then we'll start looking to manage the trade. I might even bring the stop down to the high if that's the case, and then just see if we can get it down to that 8 a.m. pivot, which is, like I say, down. The pivot itself is down at about, it says about 16 on eSignal, but we'll actually see where price actually goes to. Usually that's why I said 20, because so often it will actually come in a little bit higher when it actually strikes it on eSignal. So anyway, let's first of all see if we can get down into those 29s for the 10 pipper off of this, the back end of this quarter of the position. Remember, I always have to split my positions up, because my broker doesn't allow me to incrementally take partial profits off of one position, so I have to put them in single units. So I always use 4 units, usually 4 to 6 units, and in order for me to be able to break up the trades, and I can then incrementally take portions off. That's why I have to do that way. I could obviously put 10 units in if I wanted to, but I usually tend to just do 4s on these updates, 4s to 6s, depending on what I'm looking at and what I'm trying to achieve. To an extent, it depends on the type of trade. Sometimes it may be a build up, an add-in trade, and if it's a trade that requires add-ins, then I can have that, reserve the right to be able to add in a little bit more, or split it up into more increments. But if that's the case, okay, it looks like it's not wanting to play ball right now, so I'm just going to press pause just while we're waiting. But sorry, just when we're talking about brokers, still our preferred spread bet provider is ETX, remains to be ETX Capital. We do think their execution is largely good and sound relative to most of the other spread bettors, and good execution. Even around news, it's usually pretty good, and so we do prefer ETX Capital. Right, looks like it's going to bounce around. I may actually might as well just move my stop down to these highs now anyway, so I'm just going to put that down. Now I'll still be a losing position, obviously, because the high is around about 43, but I'm just going to reduce the exposure now. It could want to come all the way up and do another divergence, like I've said. So, but in which case, I suspect my stop at 50 would still get stopped out, so I may as well move my stop to there, then reassess it, and then I may be able to go back in again if that is the case, if it does that. So I'm going to press pause for now. Okay, so let's take one of these off, because I've missed it. It's flushed down, and I missed that. So I'll take that one off at 30. Okay, so I've taken one out at 30 there. But I've put some limit orders in now. I was upstairs, and I put some limit orders, as you can see, down at 22, 22, and 16, because actually, if I look at eSignal shows that it's just air kissed the 8 a.m. pivot. It just goes to show you, like I said, the pivot shows at about 16, and yet if I look at eSignal's charts, which are off screen at the moment, then it shows as near as damn it a hit. So and that's why I put those limit orders in. Didn't quite hit 22. It hit 21.3 on the chart, but not enough for by the time you take the spread into account, for it to hit my 22 level. So just a bit unfortunate there. If I'd have been here, I'd have probably hit that. But anyway, we'll just see what happens here. It may, like I said, still want to come up to diverge, but like I said, I've moved my stops down anyway. By taking one profit off, it will reduce the loss that would be there. I assume that would still be a loss, a loser. overall. But the whole point of these sort of trades is that you can be looking at your P&L, and only reason I show the P&L is for the purposes of these updates, because when you're actually trading, you don't want to be watching your P&L, because that's what can sway your decisions. Because you could be looking at your P&L thinking, well, I'm up X, Y, Z amount. I want to just take some profit off here. As opposed to letting it run. It's a bit like the trades that I was in, the sort of small swing trade I was in over the last couple of days. Very easy to just come out of your position when it's not when it's been up like it had been up here. Price had been up. This is an hourly chart. Price had been up to 149. Go away. 149.80 I think it was over here. I was in at 149.06, you see, so you're up 70 odd points, and then to see it roll over and come almost back down to your break-even level, and to your initial entry, pretty much nearly got there, and the temptation would be, oh, just come out or whatever, like a lot of traders might do, but you've got to try and hold with the trade. And so it's no different to what we're looking at here, is that you've got to try and hold on to your trades rather than panicking, thinking, "Oh, what if it comes up and comes and stops me out?" Well, if that's the case, then then so be it. If that's what's going to happen, but otherwise, you've got to try and hold for the move. So what's actually happened is it's come down. It's reacted to the 21 MA on eSignals charts. It's hit. On telecharts here, it's not quite hit, but it's essentially there. So it's had a reaction to that. So it's now just a case of whether it may just take a little bit longer. Now, like I said, it was an air kiss into that pivot. It just missed it by the looks of things about half a pip. But that's on eSignals charts. The reality is that price came down to 21, not 16. So ultimately, I'm hoping it will come down and come back and attack those levels, and that I'll still at least get the 22s hit. And then hopefully you get the 16 hit if it does want to do a bigger retrace. Like I've already said, I wouldn't have taken this divergence trade if we'd have had accelerating strong momentum on the hourly charts. Then I wouldn't have taken this trade anyway. But at this time of day is my favourite time to take divergences. Don't get me wrong, if you're a divergence trader, then you'll be taking them at all sorts of times of the day. It's just my own comfort levels. But because also we didn't have positive momentum on the hourly charts, it just helps me to be able to do that. If we'd have had rising momentum, then I would have just said, "Oh no, I'll leave that one alone." So there are a few caveats when it comes to taking divergences, but this is the time of day that I prefer to take them if they're going to set up. So we'll just see how we get on. It's 8:20. Okay, so I've just taken another one off just as we've come down here to 24.5. I came out at just as it came down here. It's hit some momentum MAs, a 30-minute momentum MAs, which are rising up to meet price. So and we're close enough to the pivot again, very close, within a couple of pips on eSignals. So just taken that one off. So we'll just see if we can get down to these lower levels by taking just a couple off there. It's just protecting our trade overall as regards to if it was to come up, and again we've had a nice move down. It's just a case of whether it does want to come up to retest these highs again, in which case I'd get stopped. But so far so good, and we'll see if it gets down to what we got, a 22 and a 16 as the remaining limit orders on this trade. So I shall leave it to see how it's going to get on, and back in a shortish while. Okay, just back. So it's filled my positions there. So we've netted 571 so far this morning on this. So there's the original orders at 36, 35.9, 39.9, 39.2, and these were the exits right down there as we came down and finally came down to the pivot. I've been getting ready while this has all been happening to put limit orders in. Okay, so that's that done for now. So let's have a look through this. I think I may end up struggling to find. What I want to find is some momentum opportunities here today again. So nice enough that divergence trade has played itself out quite nicely. Now cable could end up rolling over and having a really nice retracement today. But when you've got on the higher time frames, for me personally, even once it comes down a bit, then when you've got moving averages coming up to meet it and the overall trends up, unless there's a divergence at the top at that time of day like we had earlier on, then I'm not going to catch any of that because it's all counter trend. So I'm going to be looking for, I want to be looking for momentum based trend trades. So I'm going to have a quick look through some of my charts here, and let's have a quick look at the euro dollar. Now the euro dollar has backed off a little bit here, as you can see. Just looking at my other charts off screen as well to see if I can get a picture for what's going on there. It's got a little bit messy. If we have a look at the hourly chart, so euro's a bit sluggish here, a bit messy, but again had a lovely late run yesterday. The euro dollar got above its hourly 50. So again, with the euro dollar, I want to be looking for opportunities on it. Just got to be a little bit patient. But the thing is, when I'm saying looking at opportunities, I'm looking at swing opportunities on the euro dollar, because if we come out to the daily charts, then again we can see that we've got this overall trend channel in play. We've been talking about this for a long time as well, and at least you're now getting to see all these come to fruition, that it's come within the channel, and it's probably going to want to come over to test that upper channel, and at some point it will break out of that channel as well. Okay, so but again, no real opportunities here on the euro dollar at the moment. So it's a mishmash of being overall trend up on an hourly charts, but trend down on the 5-minute. So I only want to trade it when we've got everything going in the right direction. I'm just going to have a look at some of the other currencies, like the dollar yen, and just see. I suspect there probably won't be anything there. That's sloppy, so nothing there. Let's have a look at the dollar Swiss. Again, that looks like on an hourly chart. No, nothing there. I think they've all had such good moves yesterday, and it's quite a bit of news out today. Let's have I haven't double checked the news yet. It's 8:55 a.m. now. Just want to see what we've got, if there's anything coming up this morning. And if there's not, I'll go down the gym. Let's have a quick look here. No, nothing this morning. We've got yeah, so it's CPI out at 12:30, and then we've got consumer sentiment out at 5 to 2. So nothing too much coming out as far as this morning until we get to lunchtime. So if that's the case, then I may not get another trade here today, this morning, which is fine. If that's the case, so be it. I just want to have a quick look at the pound Aussie, have a look at some of these other currencies, and just see if there's anything going on with them. And the Aussie dollar, I don't think there's anything on the Aussie dollar. No, sluggish again. Pound Aussie looked like there might be something. Oh, so that's pound yen. So pound yen, this is an hourly chart. So again, a bit overlappy, lovely trend, but overlappy. And pound Aussie, that's looking all right. I need to check my momentum chart, so I'll press pause, come back. So no, I'm not seeing too much there on the pound Aussie at the moment. Nice trend overall, but it's lacking momentum, real inertia with the momentum, so I'm not too interested in that right now. It's just done a 15-minute band play. It's just bouncing off of that. Actually, just talk about that actually, because the pound dollar itself, back to the pound dollar, on the 15-minute chart, you can see it's just playing out a 15-minute band play to the long side. It just overran it a little bit. I wonder if it came down to the 30-minute band. Not quite. But would I have taken that at that band play? It actually qualifies as a trade. It's absolutely fine to taken. But in light of the huge move that we'd had, I probably wouldn't have bothered with it, even if I was looking at that point and we weren't short. But I wouldn't have bothered anyway, because in light of just such a big move, and you're coming into the early stage of the following day, divergences at the highs into like I said, an hourly 500 MA right across the highs there. So I wouldn't have bothered with that anyway. So let's go back to, so I've just already covered off the daily charts, but we're looking ultimately for the pound to get into this trend channel over the next week. So look for more upside. There will be downside flushes, I'm sure, unless it just keeps going. It did certainly had the hallmarks of a short covering rally yesterday, the way that the price action was, but overall we want to be looking for that. There will be shocks to the downside, but I suspect these lows are going to hold for the time being, and price is going to come back well into that trend channel. So if I can put this line on as well, we'll keep watching that. So I'll press pause for now. Maybe we'll get another trade, but at least we've had one trade so far this morning, which has been a nice enough trade. It's been a fantastic week again, actually. Partly because of the run yesterday, but I've had some nice trades earlier on this week as well. It was a bit quiet earlier on this week, but if you only have to get the odd trade here and there, and it can still end up being a pretty decent week. So yeah, not too bad a week at all. So let's press pause for now, and we'll see if there's anything that comes along later. Okay, I just got back from the gym to see that these markets have gone higher. Fun enough, that cable did its divergence, did the ATM pivot play down to the pivot. Well, pivot was yeah, just down sub 20 here. and as you can see, it's come all the way back up while I've been gone. But what I'm seeing on the euro is a little trend based play. We've got a little band play potentially setting up, so I'm just going to have a look at that. So I'll press pause and we might get a trade there. I was just looking at the bigger chart actually, and if we come out to an hourly chart, we see that we've just come into these prior highs. So I think I'll leave that little band play. It's coming up right into those highs. The bands are quite narrow at the moment anyway, about 5 pips apart, so it's not really worth it. So what I might do is I'll press pause for now. I'll keep on having a look here for the rest of the morning, but I wanted to ensure that I got this out a bit earlier today. So I'll give it another hour and a half and see if we can find anything. Momentum wise would be nicer. But as we've come into those prior highs there on that hourly chart, we're right at those, so I think I'll leave it. It's a little bit tight at this stage. There's no real extreme up there, so to warrant maybe it coming back up to test that, so I'll leave it for now. Okay, it's just coming up to 11 o'clock, and it does look like we're probably just going to be consolidating ahead of the news at 12:30 in the US. I may be wrong, but looks like the market's already had their moves this morning. Good moves again. We had the nice move down on the pound, and the pound and the euro have done a very similar pattern. If I show you the pound as well, see it just over there. It is. Very similar sort of pattern, and they've just then gone up, and they're now just very, very tight. So, and there's not a lot of momentum, so not surprisingly, they could just drift their way higher today. As a secondary move, that sometimes can happen. If I go out to the hourly charts, you can sometimes we had the big momentum coming through yesterday, consolidate, and then up we go. We've got more people short, funnily enough, in the pound and the euro dollar than long, so it tells us that there's a lot of traders out there are trapped, and so it tells us that certainly at the moment anyway, they're probably taking a lot of heat. But who knows, it may back off at some point, and that's what I'm looking for at some stage. So when the grand scheme of things, if I go out to the likes of the 4-hour chart, in the grand scheme of things, I've got to be a little bit patient. 50 period moving average is way down here at the moment. It's way above the 8 period moving average with my red line here, my 21, which is down here. So at some stage it will back off, and then I'll be looking, providing it doesn't go up and hit targets first of all, so monthly pivots and the likes, then or the daily. Let's go to the daily charts and get all the way straight up and come straight up to this channel. But providing it doesn't do that, then looks like early next week I'll be looking for fresh long plays on the pound, and by then what will happen is the market will roll over, the pound will roll over. It'll look ugly at the time when it's sweeping down at some stage when it does back off, and no one will want to buy it, and that'll be the time to buy. So anyway, so looking to still get longs on the pound. It's been a great couple of days, but I think don't think I'm going to get another trade off before the news, and I want to get this video update out to you ahead of the news. So nice little trade there this morning, and like I always maintain, just put in both the long. When we do these Friday updates, do them every Friday unless I'm not around. And so you can see both winning days and losing days, and whatever, you see everything. So just that one trade there on the pound so far today. So I shall leave that with you. Have a fabulous weekend, and be back in touch next week.